just at, in fact, 11th position, so gained another spot since the previous lap around.
Just confirming that the leader in H2 is indeed the 617 Opel Manta.
Patrick Pilet is behind the wheel of the 911. And
so back aboard.
Yeah.
Okay, started the race and ends the race in the 911.
Yeah, all right. I'll buy that for $1.
Has just done an 8:04.554.
He can add that at the moment to the fastest lap of the race that he got in GTLM at Sebring.
Going through a swathe of fastest laps. Can anybody beat that in the remaining 30 minutes and 22 seconds? The 4 Porsche leading the way by a smidge over 9 seconds from Patrick Pilet in the 911. And the Bentley number 38, the all-black Continental, is in 3rd spot. With then the 28 Audi, despite it making 4 stops, yeah, it's in 4th position. Last time around did an 8:14.7, but that's almost a full minute behind the race leader, beg pardon.
Yeah, the stop-go.
No, in fact, behind the Bentley, that is. So it's cost it a minute and something.
Stop-go for that car took it out of the challenge for the lead. It was in with a chance to that point. Its final scheduled pit stop underneath the mandatory time spent in the pit lane.
A bit of an update on one of the cars.
Half an hour to go, by the way, Griff.
Yeah, we mentioned at the start of the race, the BMW 235, not one of the Cup 5 cars for Alex Lynn and Will Stevens. That car has been in the pits for a long time, way down the order, about 150. First position, I'm afraid, for what is still the second place car in SP8T, albeit that's a small class.
And the issue with that is that they need to get their laps in, because it's all about how many laps you get in during race conditions for those drivers to help you with your permit.
Yeah, absolutely right. And we'll have a quick look and see how many laps that car has done. 23 laps for the leader.
Another issue out in the circuit, and it looks like another left rear problem for a BMW, and there's a couple of there's a car off as well that's getting some attention, and that was where on the circuit. I reckon that was heading.
They run down to Arenberg.
Yeah, maybe
left and right.
While we're looking at that, the answer for the Lynn-Stevens combo is that the car is 15 laps down on the leader, which means that there has been enough time for potentially both drivers to get a stint in. But those cars run longer.
I can't remember what the regs are about how many laps you've got to get it in the race when you're the rookie. 801 Audi RS3, is that... how's that doing in the TCR category? That'll be second, is it? Or further down? It's third in the TCR. Still being led by the Golf, which is well inside the top 40. And now into 34th position. 8:55, that car's fastest time. That is extraordinary, Graham, isn't it? And the cars around it, all the cars around it, bar one, have got faster lap. Even some of the cars behind it have got faster lap times.
It's as TCR class continues rather to mature. What are we going to be talking about the Nürburgring 24 hours with these cars? That could be very interesting indeed. One of the things I know we all love about
very user friendly
is watching some of these non-SP9 cars through the race, the longer races, rising up the order.
Yep.
Who's to say that it's what we've seen from the Cup cars, etc., that we won't see a TCR car well up.
Well, on that basis, Graham, one might expect that car to get on our fabled first timing screen.
I wouldn't bet against it. If you can keep the car that quick and reliable, and more to the point, out of the pits, that could be a very interesting 24 hours to come with, as I say, the more potentially many more TCR cars, more variety. It's picking up fans, isn't it? Crosses the line to complete lap 24. Comes the monocled almost with one light showing.
It was
one headlight
flashing
showing.
Both lights not so very long ago, and I thought they'd fixed it when it was in the pit lane.
It's an No, it's not. 8:06 was last time around, wasn't it? Waiting for the timing to... Through now comes the 911. That's your 1-2. Towards the end of the Dottinger, here comes the 38 Bentley. So the 38 Bentley now is the length of the pit straight and all of the track section beyond Dottinger Her behind the second place car.
Falcon's time an 8:22.1, and it'll take a little while longer for Patrick Pilet's time to come in. We know last time he did an 8:04. If he gets anywhere close to that, that'll be a bit more time picked off.
Well, and the lap before the one he just completed, Martin Rangan did his fastest lap of the race, which was an 8:06.8.
Yeah.
So he's feeling the pressure.
Yes, but they both may have caught the circuit at a good time, as
Yes.
there wasn't a great deal of traffic during that lap, whereas an 8:22 is maybe more representative of still the amount of cars that circulate this place.
18 seconds can disappear around here in the, sorry, I was going to say in the blink of an eye. Obviously, that means you would have your eyes closed for a very long time. But you know what I mean, that it adds up very quickly if you've just got to get off the throttle, can't use the optimum racing line, maybe go down an extra gear.
What's that, the 50 getting ahead of
It's
28?
all three. It's the three. No, it's 28, 50, and 49 together
Absolutely
again.
together, the
right.
three black cars.
But it's actually 29, isn't it? It's 28, 29, and 50.
Yeah.
Which is nice because they're in ascending numerical order, which is, the kind of...
But 29 is not on the same lap, is
No,
it?
it's not.
It's way down.
I'm trying to work out now how many laps the 29 has completed, but it's had a troubled run, hasn't it? 46th position.
It is,
last
yeah.
time we checked.
22 laps now complete, so 2 laps off the lead. That's a long pit stop.
Yeah, and it's not exactly looking as it did when it came out of Audi Sport at Neustadt.
My timing is frozen. I can't give you a lap time at the moment for the number 911.
The 29, by the way, is the Christopher Haase and Pierre Caffer Audi.
Is Kaffer in that car for the 24 years, isn't he?
I would imagine so.
Trying to think that
You
Land, with their recent record and now competing in multiple championships, they were at Sebring and Mugello, of course. Almost
Dubai last year.
Almost had double podiums. They led the most race laps in a very competitive GT Daytona field in the Rolex 24 Daytona. Well over 100 laps led there, when pretty much everybody led at one stage. Certainly, I think the stat was that 7 of the 9 manufacturers led, and all of them were in second place at one stage.
Now the answer on the lap time, by the way, from the number 911 car, drop time there. That would have been yellow flags, I'm sure, for both the cars, but dropped 3 seconds to the leader, so 12.5 seconds the gap, with the Bentley dropping much more than that, another 26 seconds further back in terms of lap time, and drops the Bentley to 44 seconds off second place and 56 seconds off the lead. So must have caught a yellow flag period after the 2 Porsches had passed.
Got through, yes.
And this is the 28 car, only now completing the... No, beg your pardon.
That's
the 8. It's
yeah,
the 8
that's
car.
the 8.
That makes much more sense in my head. So the 8 car now completing lap 24. And it has got ahead, therefore, of the Nissan, number 24. But I don't think it has yet got back in front of the 6.
It hasn't. I just had a brief glimpse of a white and blue car disappearing stage left as we switch to a wider view. And you'll see that, I'm sure, in a moment.
So, gentlemen, as we move into the last 22 minutes, as the 12th place Mercedes-Benz now comes through and onto the Grand Prix circuit, what have we made of our first opportunity to sit and talk about the VLN? Graham?
Love it. Love everything about it. Absolutely everything about it. It's every one of everybody's favourite tracks in the world. It's got a fantastic mix of cars, which means that the traffic is fascinating. There's some great class battles. The racing at the front is stunning. It's superb. The one thing we've not yet got in this first race of the year is, I think, a true picture of absolute pace from all of the factories.
Oh.
I am deeply suspicious about the pace of the Mercedes-Benz.
Or the lack thereof.
Correct.
Yes. Johnny, great weather,
Yeah.
decent crowd, good battles at the front. Very different in terms of the atmosphere or the character, should I say, of the race from what we're used to seeing slowly developing. Yellow flags out in the hats and back again. Slowly developing in the 24 hours. This has all been, right, that's it, come on, let's get on with it. And, you know, barely any time for us to sort of sit and think and work out what people are doing. But I kind of like the fact that it is so different.
Yeah, I mean, I quite enjoy the fact that it's a Saturday event. You get there, you can get there nice and early to witness qualifying. Race is off reasonably early at midday local time through till 4 o'clock, and by 5 o'clock, you know, you watch the podium ceremony, and then you can be back on the road again and home for tea, if you like. So and obviously we get 9 of these through the year, so lots more to look forward to. But if you're a car fan, you know, you could get to this point of the race and still be spotting new cars that you haven't yet seen around the track. And
almost certainly.
And you know, just with the programme in hand, sort of ticking them off and going, oh, what's that one? Oh, I haven't seen that before. And what class is that in? It's fascinating for a car fan. It's fascinating for the racing fan. Plus, and I haven't even started to talk about the circuit yet. You know, every element is enjoyable for me.
I saw somebody earlier on tweeting a lot of Twitter stuff, and I've got through as much as I can, and I'm reading it as we go along, not able to mention everything that comes into at Specutainment or at Radio Le Mans, of course. But there's a lot of interaction going on between the fans in different parts of the world, and people who have been to the track. Somebody earlier on saying, well, we go on the grid, and then as the race develops, we start walking around the circuit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And see it from different places as you move along from, you know, one corner to another, one viewing area to another. There's the opportunity to do that, Grim.
And right now, what you can do, if you're lucky enough, as increasing numbers of people are, to have a generous data plan on your mobile device, you can go and watch trackside and listen to us talking about it.
Oh, well, that is a good point, yes.
And, you know, there's nothing I've seen here that, to be blunt, John, makes me want to do anything other than ask you for one of these races off, so go and watch it trackside.
Yeah.
You know, it just looks great. It's exactly what I hoped the VLN would be like sitting in the chair that I'm sitting in. It's, you know, we got the potential for this race in the next 20 minutes or so to be pretty close at the end here. And this is very early days in a critical season for very many of these teams. It's only getting more hard fought between the big German factories in particular.
On the Nordschleife, the 24th placed BMW is the number 20, ahead of it with yellow flags waving on the hats and back, so not able to overtake the GT3 Cup car, the Porsche ahead, but the Porsche beyond that, the red and white car, the 12, is that for position, Johnny?
It will be, yeah.
Yeah.
Last time around, the 20 and the 12 were separated by a couple of other cars, but I think things have concertinaed up there. And the 20 car pursuing the 12. Marcus Paltler, therefore, presumably has slipped
So
behind. Or the 98 car has, at the very least.
So somewhere at the bottom end of the top 20, this, or just into the early parts of the 20s, depending on who's gone up and who's gone down. Course vehicle being passed, one of the new breed of pickups, the venerable bright red Jeeps that used to be
Dodge
around the
Ram,
old Jeep Cherokees have
Yes,
seemingly been retired and been replaced with a fleet of Dodge Rams, of which that was one with a flame paint job on it as a rescue vehicle, intervention vehicle. So the leader still, the number 4 Falcon Porsche, has had the pace on the Grand Prix circuit at the moment, has had the pace. The 911 has... No, that wasn't. Someone tell me that was the 911 right behind. That must be the other car that looks...
It was the 609.
Yeah, I think it is the 609. There are 2 cars.
It was.
It
down
was
to
not.
2.9 seconds is the gap now between the 4 and the 911.
I'm trying to...
You said it was going to be close, Graham.
I was trying to talk myself
hang on, there he goes. Wow.
I was trying to talk myself out of it. That's not the 9. It can't be the 911. It's the 609. Oh, no, it isn't. And once again, the Nürburgring delivers The longest circuit that we watch racing on anywhere in the world in our motor racing year here at Radio Show Limiters. And how many times have major positions and even race victories here that we've talked about come down to mere feet and handfuls or fractions of seconds at the end of the race. The 3 Audi train go through and complete their lap. 15 minutes to go.
Absolutely. It was an 8:38.9 last time through for the 911 and 8:48.5. Johnny's absolutely right for the number 4. Wow, wow, wow. Now,
for me, both of those laps are still caution
They are.
affected, but it's almost as if one of the cautions came to an end before the 911 got to it.
all it needs to be is that you catch one of those cautions in traffic and get it with 3 or 4
point,
cars in
actually,
front
yeah.
of you. getting
Somebody
back up to speed.
overslows or somebody doesn't speed up quickly
There's
enough.
3-4 seconds gone the next corner right there.
Question here from Josh Barrett, and I don't know the answer to that. Well, I think I do, but I'm going to look to the experts here. Has a Bentley ever been on a podium at the Nürburgring before?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to look that up because I know that Rebecca from Bentley Motorsport is listening in. She'll know immediately. I'm absolutely certain of it. Let us know, Bex, and we'll give that fabulous brand yet another pat on the back for what's been a fantastic run so far this weekend.
The pickup truck of which we spoke a moment or two ago with the flames is the fire engine. Of course it is. That is brilliant. In for a last pit stop, the number 44 Landgraf Schmickler and Schmickler Mercedes-Benz. This is the very simply liveried car with white, blue and grey on it, sitting just inside the top 30 when it came in.
And just behind, actually, the SP7 leading car, which is gradually rising up the order, 28th overall now. And
I
there
think
we've got, this is the pass, this is the 8 car going past the 6.
And this is on the Dottinger Höhe, just coming up to the kink where the bridge is, that tiny little deviation to the left. And that 12 seconds has then, in the last lap, disappeared. And the Aribo Mercedes-Benz has gone up a position as he tears into the Tiergarten and dives underneath a GT86. And that was 11th position, changing hands.
So that was, I suspect, the 6 car slightly balked by a slower car coming onto the Dottinger Höhe, and it didn't quite work there. Ducks in behind.
That's the 47. That's a car that was in the top 10 a moment or two ago. Or
That 47, in which case has lost ground and dropped behind Christian Mamarov because that's the position as well.
right,
Is that 47?
let me just check
Green
that.
and black?
Yes.
No, don't think it is.
It is the 47.
It is the 47. I thought it was.
He's in trouble then. He's about to lose another position.
As I said, he was in the top 10 last time around.
So this...
So are we seeing gremlins at the end here, Grim? Are we seeing the Mercedes trying to stretch their fuel loads? What is going on here? Because that car has slowed significantly. I'm not making that up, am
No,
I?
you're not. No, the number 47 car
It
was
did an
9th,
8:53. It was delayed.
was 9th overall. Christian Mamarov
There's a 10:20.
did 10:20. Then it was the battle behind. So as this one winds out, we're going to see a very different order in the bottom end of the top 10. Something's happened on that last lap. That's just shaken things up, rather. And now what we've got is a very live battle between the 47 car ahead here and the 8 car having finally dispensed with the threat from the 6 for a moment at least, although the 6 is right behind these two. We've been used, haven't we, guys, through this race to seeing 3 or 4 Audis battling nose to tail. Now it's the time of the AMGs.
Yeah, 3 MGs on the hats and back together, running through this rhythm section of the first part of the track. This is a real baptism of fire onto the Nordschleife when you come on from the Grand Prix circuit. Left and right, 3rd, 4th and 5th gear. These big GT3 cars being hustled around by their drivers. Marvellous stuff from the technology of the onboard cameras now. Inside a dozen minutes remaining. Oh, and there's a thought of a pass here coming up over the top of the Flugplatz towards that tricky right-hander.
So this is for 9th position. The 8
Yep.
car has gained so much ground, and the 47, as you say, has lost a little bit, and they're sort of meeting in the middle.
Now he
Also,
goes. Now he
he's gone
goes.
for it.
He's
Yeah.
got it. He's got it.
And I just want to mention just before this overtake that the 101 car has had to come in. The Cup 2 leader has had to come in for a 4th stop.
Wow.
Now, I'm not sure whether that's for a penalty or to address the damage on the front left corner, but this could be quite a bit of luck, therefore, for the crew at the wheel of the 111, Willie Moore and Bill Cameron. Could they therefore be on course to win that class? Waiting for confirmation as to whether the 111 needs a 4th stop as well. Meanwhile, on the live stream, this is the moment where the 8 car managed to get by the 6, wasn't it? Yes. So this was a little earlier on.
That was on the Dr. Gahur, yeah.
And we saw there what happened. It was a smaller car in the middle of the road. And got the tow from the 6. The 8 got the tow from the 6 and was able to carry that momentum through as the 6 made the pass on the slower car.
This is very interesting indeed, and what a race to the end by the Mercedes-Benz number 8. Inside the top 10 now, having to avoid an intervention vehicle just before he turned into the long right-hander at Callanhard.
Another near miss there with the car turning in.
10 minutes to go, plus a lap potentially, and there are your leaders coming down the Dr. Gahur.
There's nothing between them, Johnny, is there?
Absolutely nothing between them. What's that going to be, about 7 or 8 car lengths?
How different, by the way, do those 2 cars look in those 2 different
the yellow car looks about a foot wider.
Yes, I was just about to say you would think the Monti car was a foot wider, but then again, it is a Monti car, so it might be a foot wider. That's one thing we know about Olaf, is he knows how to get cars to the end of this race.
And he's delicious, by the way.
Well, only, you know. Oh my goodness, big lock. Oh, he's off! He's off! The leader's gone off at the Tiergarten. He's not going to hold on to it. He's going to hit the barrier. He's hit the barrier on the left-hand side, tried to go down the inside of a lower-class BMW, locked up his left-hand side tyres, and just couldn't hold the car. He slid into the barriers and dived straight into the pit lane, and through goes the 911. The 911 is back in the lead. Under 10 minutes to go, and there's drama right at the end of the Nordschleifer at the Tiergarten. Comes up on a BMW, gets onto the grass. The BMW just dithering in the middle of the road, and immediately he's on the grass, he can't slow down. Straight lines the second part of the Tiergarten chicane, and then it's a sideways slide. Does he hit the barriers? He does, and he hits an unguarded bit of Armco where there is no tyre bales, and through goes the 911.
Perfect timing as well for the 911. Forgetting for the moment what's happened to the Falcon car, crossing the line with just over 9 minutes to go, and not now under threat from the car behind.
Last lap, he can
it's the final lap. That's it. Unless there's dramas to the 911 on the final lap, that means that car will win this race.
This car could be losing a podium here. The Falcon car could be losing a podium because it's only a minute.
Bad damage to the back of that car, I think.
It's only a minute back to the 38.
Now, that was a proper clatter, wasn't it?
Well, he went in fairly square on sideways, Johnny, there. He hasn't even punctured the tyres. He's been lucky, but not lucky enough.
No, it's going back into the garage. Oh
just
dear,
an example of you don't even have to attempt an overtake. You just need to be in the mirrors of the guy in front, and whoever was at the wheel of the number 4, feeling that he had to get by that BMW into Tiergarten, couldn't afford to just bide his time. And Patrick Pilet actually did exactly that. He kind of knew what was going on, I think. Patrick realised he had all the time in the world to go around the outside of the BMW. Let's have a look at the silver BMW then. There's about to be lapped by the leaders, and you're right, it's kind of not to the left, not to the right from whoever's driving that little cup car, sticks it in the middle of the track. This is Pilet, though, thinking, I just need to be delicately careful here on the high line through Tiergarten. Needs to be careful about the Ford coming back across its bows.
Exactly what I was going to say. Do you know what? I don't think that guy in the BMW did very much wrong. You do straight line that part of the track there because you're coming through a chicane, and the closing speeds are so great. The 28 car has gone through in 3rd position then. So it's 9, 11, 38, 28. And then the 50 will be 4th position.
Wow.
Pretty sure that was Lawrence Vantor behind the wheel of the 4 as well.
I think you're right.
Looking through the helmet.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And the eyes
I think that's bad luck. I don't think you can really put the blame on the BMW driver, and you certainly can't put the blame on the man who's leading the race by barely a second and a half, Graham. He put himself in the position, and he was maybe, what, half a metre too far to the left?
It was a mistake. I think the reality here is, John, you're making choices. We talked about how tough that final section of this track was. We talked about that.
And how committed you have to be.
You have to be so committed to carry the momentum through the start-finish straight. Had he not done that, he in any case would have the 911 right on his boot lid.
On board with the Mercedes-Benz, 5 minutes to go, coming to that part of the track. Now, as you go down through that dip, you're straight like, now, I just wonder how close the leader was to the Armco barrier on the left-hand side, and whether he may have brushed the Armco barrier on the left-hand side and broken a steering arm, which is what sent him straight on, because it was a very odd angle that he went across the gap. There was a puff of what I thought was dust, and there was definitely some damage to the left-hand side wheels of that car, which I assumed was obviously from when he went in sideways to the Armco. He may have just brushed that Armco barrier on driver's left, but he certainly, Johnny, had wheels off the track. That was clear from the dirt that was thrown up there.
But obviously your front left tyre, when it's on grass, ain't doing a lot of turning.
And that's the loaded wheel at that point.
Yes, but it's just going to mean that the car, instead of turning more left where you want it to into Tiergarten, it's just going to go straight on. He nearly clattered into the BMW by going right across its line as well. I thought Vantor, if indeed it was him behind the wheel, might just be able to arrest the slide over the grass to driver's right before running far too wide then on the left and clattering into the barrier. You're right there, that unprotected, because had he done that, I don't know, a couple of yards prior to the Armco that he hit, it would have just been recticel barrier, maybe able to have retrieved the car, probably in second place at that point, but continued on. Interesting that he felt something crucial enough to pit straight away rather than risk it on the final lap and pick up second position. But I think the good point from Graham is that for Pilet, he now enjoys a lead of over a minute from the number 38 Bentley, and that will mean he can control the race distance effectively, back the pace well and truly off, and make sure that he crosses the line after the next 3 minutes and 40 seconds have elapsed.
There's been another collision between the 38 Bentley and the 101, which was it not, the race leader in the GT3 Cup class?
There was indeed. That was the
Cup 2 class, yeah.
And that was in what the Germans called the short cut, the short run. So that, I presume, is the first part of the cutout on the Grand Prix circuit, the hairpin bit. So there's been a collision there, but both cars have have continued. So, but that again, those are two significant cars there. Hello to John De Geese, who is tuned in, listening to us here on Radio Show Limited. Nice to know that you're tuned in and watching and listening, John. Enjoying our English language coverage for the first time. And you're right, it isn't often that you see Lawrence Vanteur have an accident unless he's on his roof.
I was about to say exactly that.
The guys at Porsche, the guys at Porsche are saying, you didn't do that right. You didn't cross the line on your roof, Lawrence.
It's a lap early for his usual drama, actually. 2 minutes to go. And, well, we know the cars continue. We don't know at the moment whether or not the Bentley suffered any damage. No. 30 seconds to the good ahead of the number 28 car. So that's going to be further dramas we may not see until the end of the race. And meanwhile, further battles further down the field, Johnny.
Well, I was just going to say, what are the 101 car? Because we know that's made an extra stop as well as possibly carrying damage too. But it's still, according to my screen, leads Cup 2.
It only had a couple of minutes, 2:15, I think the last time I looked at it. A number of people, and having just seen another chance to have a look at that replay, spotting that the BMW had one of its indicators on, either deliberately or had left it on. That may have been a distraction. Lawrence Vanteur might have thought the car was moving one way or the other. It's always using your indicators on a racetrack is something that you're discouraged from doing, other than when you come into the pit lane, as we've got more problems out on the Dottinger and somebody going slowly, maybe getting
This is
a
the
tow.
leader.
There's the leader, though, having got by that bit.
Well, he's going to come through to...
He's going to come through too early, isn't he? Surely.
Well, exactly. I've got 1 minute and 2 seconds left. My point about the indicators on a racetrack, does it mean go past me that side or I'm moving that way? And that's often the issue. 50 seconds as the number 911 Porsche that was on pole position comes off the Nordschleife through the end of the Tiergarten and onto the Grand Prix circuit to complete lap number 27 and move on to the 28th lap.
Well, there you go.
Well, now, who stopped? Who were the first people to stop for the last pit stops, Graham?
Well, this is where you could catch out somebody else. If it's just possible that in doing that, that's caused problems for
I
other
reckon
people
that was
further
under
down the line.
30 seconds, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, the other little bit of history here, which is pretty sad history, I'd like to come back to you in a moment, is that Falcon have never won a VLN race.
Now, the question is, does this run to Nürburgring Nordschleife rules? So does the checkered flag come out now and he gets to put a lap on the field, the leader gets to put the lap on the field, or do they all have to complete the lap that the leader's on? And we will only know when we see somebody else cross the start line.
The 911 car is going to go for one more lap. We
Correct.
know that.
Now, Ragginger was about, what, 16, 17 seconds behind.
Well, that was when it came into the pit.
Oh, yes, that's right. So he's done.
He's done.
The 38
was a
75
minute
seconds
back.
has a question mark above its roof only because it's had contact with the 101, and we assume it's still running, but we're all
There it goes.
Yeah, okay,
Right, now, is
good.
there a checkered flag out?
Not
Need
that
to
we-
look
no.
to the starter stand, couldn't see it. So that would say to me
We go
that,
around again.
we are going to complete the lap that the leader has just started.
And I can't see, there's maybe a little bit of damage on the front left corner of that, but certainly nothing slowing it down.
So that is now second position for Bentley for the Jonsbroek car.
Meanwhile, here's the 28 car in a surprise, perhaps third position. I have to say, after it came
Wow.
in for that stop and go, I really thought a podium was out of the question, but the 28 car crosses the line now to do still another lap, and it has right behind it. That's the 50 car, is it not?
Yes, it is.
So that's the battle for the final position on the podium. 28 versus 50. They might be painted in exactly the same colours, but they're not part of the same team, and there is bragging rights here to be taken into account.
Ask me again what I think of this race.
We got comments out of you far too early, I think.
Well, it's odd.
It's going for it.
Down the inside on the Grand Prix circuit, going into the cutout. Braking area for the right-handed hairpin.
Oh,
Look
he's
to
done
the
it.
right-hand side. He's
Oh,
pushed
oh,
it off. He's pushed the Audi off into the paved area, and that's third position of the race overall, changing at the start of the last lap. I asked you for those comments early, Graham, just in case something happened, because we've seen this happen before.
He was angled there, wasn't he? It was.
He was angled. Very good. Look it up, kids. Last lap of the Nürburgring 24 last year.
That was Belgium barging past Germany in their own backyard with the Team WRT car, the number 50, getting ahead of the 28 then, and now starting to stretch its legs.
Well, Belgium's just down the road, isn't it? Literally.
Yeah,
If you
true.
go down to St. Vith, and the borders around these parts have changed many times over the years in a fluid political situation in Europe. And these guys, I mean, what, an hour and a bit from here to Spa?
Yeah, so a bit less than that, I think.
Yeah. Well, it depends what you're driving, obviously. In one of these.
One of these about 20 minutes.
So, through and to start the last lap, the number 911 Montai Porsche, which started on pole position and has cruised to an easy victory if you just looked at the start.
If you're joining us now,
it's been far from that. Second position for Bentley. And that will be the best finish of a Bentley, surely.
Bentley have never won, so clearly it at least equals their best finish. So
Ragginger is... Have you seen Ragginger's car come out of the pits
no,
yet?
it was pushed into the garage.
Okay, so now it is the two Audis battling for third position, the 50 and the 28. We'll get through the other class battles when we dare take our eyes off the front of the field. And for so many years, revel in this time, dear viewer and listener. Revel, for we are truly in a golden age of endurance racing, where the top classes are providing us with excellent entertainment, drama, and incident aplenty. It would have been us looking down the field a few years ago and, oh yeah, well, you know, the guy's out ahead by a lap and a half.
But remember, kids, endurance racing is quite boring.
Don't let anybody ever say that, not even in jest. The 21st century endurance race has come, it has certainly come of age in this century, hasn't it, endurance racing? The reliability levels that are built into the cars now is quite extraordinary. Late pit stop for the Rowe BMW, Johnny.
Yeah, that's either the 98 or the 99, isn't it? 98, I'm going to say.
8, I think.
I'm not sure. 99 possibly. Anyway, yeah, it looks like it's a splash and dash, doesn't it? For one, it's 99 for the one of the two Rowe Racing BMWs.
Yes, 99.
They were running together on the timing screen, actually 17th and 18th last time through. Again, disappointing for that squad.
May have dropped that back behind the other Falcon car, actually. Because he's in fairly close proximity.
Yes.
But we'll see, because there's not so much as splash and dash with the pumps they've got. It's not that dash, I'm afraid. It does take time.
And of course, had the race finished a lap earlier, they would have got to the end. But this is one of the crews that potentially were caught out then by the extra lap that Patrick Pilet's doing.
Yeah.
So the 99 car sets along its final tour of this Nürburgring Nordschleife, already with traffic to negotiate. Meanwhile, the leader must be nearing the end of its final lap.
The lead lap times between the top two almost identical to the 10th, 8:27.4, so still 75 seconds back is the Bentley. The 28 car, which came through in third position, now lost that position, was quicker, took about 4 seconds out, but is 30 seconds back. So short of there being a lasting problem for the Bentley, I don't think there's a chance on pace at least for the 50 car to catch it, and the hashtag blame Hindi is trending.
Yeah, sorry about that, particularly the Falcon guys. The battling Audis for third and fourth position are still within sight of each other, advantage to the 50 car at the moment. And remember, this is the first of the series coverage here with our colleagues from VLN and from Vega and Radio Show Limited, bringing you the international feed with English language commentary for all of the VLN series events this year. We'll also, as we have been since 2007, be bringing you the only full live English language coverage from the Nürburgring Nordschleife of the 24 hours a little later on in the year as well. So plenty more Nordschleife action to come in this 2017 season. What a barnstormer. The leader is on the Dottinger Höhe now, and with a mercifully clean run towards the Tiergarten. It's the classic long distance shot of the car coming over the top of the brow and heading towards that flat out left hand kink before through the dip and up through the Tiergarten, and the pole sitter is going to win the race.
Yeah, but let's hope that you've managed to fill yourself in with the bits in between. That 4 hours has passed by incredibly quickly and not without incident, because now seesawing its way through the Tiergarten comes the 911 car, started and finished by Patrick Pilet. Romain Dumas qualified it this morning. Fred Makovici, a fabulous stint from him as well, zigzagging its way across the line and leading by and winning by just over 1 minute and 15 seconds. I'm chuckling because we had visions there of the car being thrown off the track just before the checkered flag line. There is the checkered flag being displayed, and it will be displayed to everybody as well. 4 hours and 8 minutes and 3 seconds. 28 laps, that's all we did in 4 hours, but nevertheless, every single corner had to be carefully calculated by the three drivers there, Dumas, Fred Makovici and Patrick Pilet, who will take a while now to take his slow down lap. It won't be the full lap, remember. They'll do the shorter version of the Grand Prix circuit and then duck back around into the shortcut. The Bentley appears now at the end of the Dottinger, and the 38 machine, surely Bentley's best result in a VLN event to this date. Congratulations to Christa Jons, to Chris Brook and to Jordan Pepper, the 3 drivers piloting the number 38 Bentley Team Apt Continental GT3. Meanwhile, shuffling of the order here, and this is within one of the Cup classes, John.
Yeah, this is the BMW, the Cup 5 class, and they are racing to the flag, these 2 cars, as they come through the Tiergarten and towards the line. And this is right the way through to the end of the race, and there's a draft coming on. Dives down the inside, tries to go to the pit wall. My goodness, that was very close indeed on the line, and I can't call it from I. We will have to go down to the timing.
Yeah, it's 666 versus 679, isn't it? The 2 Cup 5 leaders.
That was first and second in the Cup 5 class, just inside the top 50.
Wowza, that was another cracking finish there. But,
also very tight between the 2 Audis as well, but the 50 car just jumping ahead of the 28 on that final lap. And we will confirm the positions that they finished in as well. It looked to be the 50 car ahead.
No,
it wasn't.
No, 28 car's taken it.
28 car.
I think I saw. Did I see the 50 car jump for the pits?
No, I think the 50 car finished on the track. But
how did he lose that, and where did that go? Because the 50 car went.
Well, maybe he was short on fuel.
No, it stayed out. It didn't do an extra lap, but the gap at the line was exactly 2 seconds.
Wow.
With the 28 crew, that's the Team Lant Audi, getting back ahead of the WRT squad.
So lost the position at the start of the lap,
yes.
Got 3rd position overall back before the end.
Yes. And again, if you're just looking at the timing screen, you wouldn't know anything about this because they come through in the same order at the end of the lap.
So nothing happened there. No.
I mean, phenomenal racing on that final 8-minute lap, and it was for the 28 car.
Literally, as they crossed the line, looked like he was out of fuel, and he had to slow coming off there. Cough, splutter, oh dear, and there goes the 3rd place on the podium.
It's not the first time we've seen Porsche win. It's not the first time we've seen a car win with this sort of livery or with Monza Racing. I'm prepared to bet it might well be the first ever all-French crew that's won at VLN.
Rubs his chin, interestingly. Well, extraordinary stuff. We'll check you as the cars are coming into Parc Fermé, and before we get to the podium, we'll check to see how much time we're going to stay on the air. But what I do want to do is run through the classes, which we will do as soon as our timing updates and everyone has crossed the line, which may take a minute or two yet. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant stuff. We've got about another half an hour to be with you, so do stay with us as we wrap up the results. There are stories further down the field, I will absolutely bet. Well, Grib, I asked you about 20 minutes out, a little less than that, what you thought of that race, and you were very happy with it. We could not have predicted, surely, the kind of finish that we saw going into the last lap there.
No, and still battles up and down the circuit going on as the rest of this. Just remember, this race isn't over until about 10 past. The point at which the leader crosses the line.
We promise 4 hours, but it's always a wee bit more. And some of these guys, you're right, Graham, are going to be coming past at 12 and 13 minutes past.
Oh, yeah, we're not nearly done yet. Because bear in mind, the lap times for some of the lower ranking cars are way over 10 minutes. But what have we had there? The battle of the top 3, really, really bad luck for Laurens Vanthoor and the Falcon Tyres team as their other car crosses the line now. The BMW crosses the line now. Really bad luck for them. That looked like they had a real shot at a first VLN win for the, real fan favourites in the VLN. The Monza Racing team did what they always do. We're pulling a race out the bag that looked, Johnny Palmer was right at the point he said it. It looked like actually it had gone the other way, but they dragged back. We're putting the car ahead under pressure. That pressure told eventually. The Audis were squabbling away throughout the entire race, to produce the battle we got in the last lap for third position. And then Bentley, actually a really clean race from Bentley. Yes, we had the contact, we didn't see it, but contact with the 101 Porsche at the end, but coming back with a second place finish there. Fairy tale stuff rather for the Monti squad. Really effectively, it's almost like coming back to their kind of their home race again. Bentley coming on strong at a point when, you know, Team Abt, I think, need to show they've got something for this field. I think they need to put the big German factory-backed teams on the back foot and show what they've got coming into the Nürburgring 24 Hours. And Audi, you know, looking very racy throughout. What was going on at AMG? We don't know.
No, we don't. The BMW, the Cup 5 class, it was the 666 that took it from the 679 on the line. What I don't have is the gap between them. It was probably not able to be measured. It was that close. Coming back.
So that was the 666 fending off the 679.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Absolutely so. Absolutely so. Just waiting for one or two of the top class cars still to finish. He's the 12 Porsche still to come to the line. This is inside the top 20, gentlemen.
Yeah, the Z4 GT3 just came through, still racing.
These guys are still racing in the top end, on the bottom end of the top 20.
I think that's the car with Stuart Lennon aboard.
Yes, it is.
This weekend.
Yes,
who will be racing for Audi at the Nürburgring 24 Hours. There's the 101.
Now, did that get... So that has got to the end. And the 111 was behind it going into the last lap.
So we'll find out for that one whether or not things changed in the closing minutes of that race. It got very fast.
The 101 was in the top 30. The best TCR car was the 802, the Golf, at 34.
Yeah, it was rising steadily up the order throughout that race.
What is it about?
There's someone else in trouble on the very last lap. So the old Astra must have got back underway,
well,
because that's just crossed the line.
Couple of GSI Mark II Astras that have those
old school
with the half and half paint jobs on one side, the other. Now there's a BMW which is a touring BMW, not that it is an estate car, but it is going very slowly down the Dottie Cahoe. Orange and black car, which looks to have another left rear puncture, or another car with a left rear puncture. Johnny, top 10 results, please, as they, I think, are now confirmed. Yes, they are. Top 40.
It's a puncture.
It is indeed a left-hand side puncture.
That's
for the BMW number 489. It's a 325i BMW, the Lima and Grossman car. But he will get that car to the checkered flag. Here's Johnny Palmer with the results of the top 15.
So Manthey Racing, as we know, win an absolutely fantastic race. Roman Dumas, Fred Makovici and Patrick Pilet in their Porsche 911 GT3 are winning by 1 minute and 8.7 seconds from the number 38 Bentley team at Continental GT3, Chris de Jons, Chris Brook and Jordan Pepper. Third position was the number 28 Audi Sport Team Lant R8 LMS. Fourth place, and only by 2 seconds in the end, the 50 car, the Audi Sport Team WRT Audi R8 LMS, just miss out on a podium, and we reckon that was running out of fuel as it headed across the line. Fifth place, another Audi, the number 49 example, and that is the car run by, again, WRT. So two of their cars finish in the top 5. Sixth position for the Phoenix Racing Audi R8. Seventh place for car number 7, the Black Falcon Mercedes AMG GT3. 8th place for car number 8, and that's the Aribo Racing Mercedes. 9th position for the 6 car, and 8 and 6 were battling for many a lap towards the end of that. Another Team Falcon AMG, and completing the top 10, the 47 Mercedes from Team HTP Motorsport.
Right, we'll have a quick look and we'll give you some of the class winners, as well as the BMW, of which we spoke a moment or two ago, has made it to the line with its four-way flashers on. Running down through the classes, the SPX winner in 11th position. No surprises that was the 702, the Glickenhaus. In SP7, that was the 62 in 28th position.
Long time leader in that class, John.
Yeah.
The one we had the in-car camera with. Cup 2. was the 101 car and did manage to make that
That's
to
the
the
Porsche class, yeah.
end. Yep, 29th position overall.
So
H4,
that means that Willie Green and
Willie
Bill,
Moore, Bill Cameron. Yeah.
Bill Cameron, yeah.
588
second.
Tops the H4 class in 31st position overall. That's the number 588 car. Then we get to the TCR class.
The 802 Golf.
As you described.
Yeah,
Cup
that would have... Just a quick word about that again. 855 lap and inside the top 40. Well inside, 34. That's, to me, that's an exceptionally good run for that car. And anybody who thinks TCR hasn't got a future as a class in endurance racing, think again. Cup 3, the 979 car came in 35th position. Only a couple of laps off the lead, by the way. Here's the final result overall. 1 minute and 8 seconds at the line from the Bentley. So 911 Porsche from 38 Bentley.
And 4 Audis and 4 Mercedes.
Well, that's a nice result for the for VAG, isn't it? Because the top 6 are all their products. And the 50 car just missing out on the podium, finishing ahead of its teammate, the WRTs, in 4th and 5th. And then Mercedes-Benz AMG GT3s from 7th to 10th, but half a lap down by the time you get to 10th. 702 Glickenhaus in 11th. Second of the Bentleys in 12th position, all still on the lead lap. Best of the BMWs in 15th position. The privately run Nissan in 14th.
Well, you know, that's a very good point. We said what was happening with AMG. What was happening with BMW?
They
didn't look right, did they?
Didn't look quite as bad a result of that sort of 3 hours in, though. But for whatever reason, that final hour just took them out of the reckoning. There's a solid block of them from 22nd down to 25th. Together with the number 62 Porsche 911 GT America car. That was the class-winning 62.
SP7, yeah, that was the SP7.
Ex-Grandam car, that's of course.
All right.
Yes. And the IMSA car, wasn't it? First year, GTD car.
Correct. The 34th, the 802 Volkswagen winning its class in 34th position. Aston Martin there inside the top 50 as well. Cup SP10 winner in 40th position, number 188. And then we have to go down to 46th for the SP6 winner. 49th for the Cup 5 winner, as we mentioned before. That was the close finish with the BMWs. SP3T in 52nd position was the 307. V6, the 55th place car. That was the winner in that class.
The 435.
435. SP8T, 57th position for the 320. And then V5, the 444 in 62nd position. All these cars laps down, of course. Volker Strycek taking the victory, or the family Strycek taking the victory in the Opel Astra in the Cup 1 category. And the Manta taking its victory as well. SP3 down in 67th position. So the cars down into the hundreds, losing 5 laps and more. And that is somewhere in the region for those guys of an hour behind the leaders if you set them off and let them go. Precious, well, not very, thankfully, not very many damaged cars. We had at one stage 4 or 5 cars off at the same point on the circuit in a fairly bizarre looking incident. But all of those cars were recovered. And as far as we're aware, no major injuries. The top 150. The Cup BMWs, I'm now being told, have got the same time on the timing screen. They have a dead heat. Well, presumably whoever started further back on the grid then will be given that, because they will have travelled the furthest distances.
Well, will be interesting. But that looked mighty, mighty close, didn't it?
Andy Lutz points out that the TCR Golf, the winning TCR car, having the Nordschleife chief instructor Andy Gulden behind the wheel, might have something to do with the 855. So we will wait then. All results are, as ever, unofficial, and we will wait to see what happened in the Cup BMW, the Cup 5 class. Dead heat on time across the line, we're being told from the press room, who have a little more from us. So there we have then the first round of the VLN for 2017, the 63rd ADAC Westfalenfahrt and that has been a 4 hours, Johnny, that we will not forget.
I think it was getting to a stage where we thought the results were
just when we thought we knew
in.
what we knew.
Well, I think that's why you threw the comment to Graham. What do you think of this then, Graham? Hasn't it been a great event? And little did we know, all hell was about to break loose with the leader heading off onto the grass. Patrick Pillay needing to go around the outside of a back marker and avoid the rejoining number 4 car to take the lead. And then we thought, oh, he'll just back off now and make sure that the race ends now, and still went for another lap, which meant consequently many other GT3 cars started to run out of fuel.
5 months since the engines had been fired in anger on the Nordschleife, and then everyone getting together at midday, high noon local time, to get ready for the first round of this August Championship. The 911 Porsche leading them off, but it was the Bentley that made the best start. The yellow and black car from the 3rd row diving down the inside and making up positions in the first corner, where at one stage we had 2 groups of GT3 cars that were 3 abreast going through into the Mercedes-Benz arena. And the Bentley making a tremendous start, almost getting up in the 2nd position. But those positions that were made up at the start, Johnny, seemed to be more important than I thought they were going to be, actually.
Bentley wasted very little time, didn't it, the 37 car, to get itself from 5th to 3rd, and that really meant that it was in a good position for the first sequence of pit stops. For whatever reason, the 37 sort of fell off the boil a little bit, and the 38 that we hadn't seen coming through managed to get, we reckon, Bentley's best result in a VLN event. That was the 609 Porsche spinning out from 2nd position. Was there contact? Was there not contact? Still can't quite tell. But
in the 2nd group, yes.
Yes, it was at the start of the 2nd group, and the 609 machine trying to go around that high side, losing the rear end. Also, an Opel Astra on the opening lap of the 3rd group, I think this was. Car number 345 ending up in the kitty litter there. And a great fight within Cup 5 for the BMW M235i Racing Cup machines. A whole load of them heading down towards the first corner at Mercedes Arena, and we reckon it's this class that the top 2 have finished at a dead heat after 4 hours and 15 minutes or whatever it was for these guys.
Yes, that's an extraordinary statistic. I have no idea how they're going to split those. In old Le Mans parlance, it would have been the car that came from further back on the grid because they had covered the greatest distance within the time. However, you could do rock, paper, scissors or flip a coin. See how many ring ghosts you can drink down at the Dorrant bar afterwards.
Also, I felt that these cars in their all carbon fibre look so
the Audis look great.
Yeah, very tricky to tell apart as well until you see the side profile. But what a final lap it was for those 2 cars, the 50 and the 28, switching positions twice on the final tour, and incredibly close across the line, just 2 seconds in the end. The 28 crew, Team Lant, managing to beat their Belgian competitors. They reckon that was because the WRT car was running out of fuel as it headed across the line. So WRT finishing 4th and 5th. Bentley with its higher roof line, monstering those R8 LMSs mid-race. A number of driver changes taking place throughout that race. Most teams able to do it on 3 stops. The 28 obviously having to make the extra stop, but still coming home with a podium finish is a fabulous result. Questions of what might have been at Team Lant had they not needed to visit the pits for a 4th occasion.
So the podium ceremony's about to get underway, and we'll stay with this as well to give due honour to our winners. My thanks to Tim Gray, our executive producer, to Michael and the Vega team and the VLN team at the Nürburgring for helping us out. And of course to Graham Goodwin, editor of dailysportscar.com, along with Johnny Palmer. I'm John Hindhoff. Here is the podium. Johnny?
To the 3rd step then, Christopher Mies, Connor De Filippi and Marcus Winkelhock. They might have thought that a 3rd place on the podium was rather unlikely as they came in for a stop-go, having cut short their mandatory time in the pits. probably by only a very, very slim margin. We will get to the bottom of exactly how much of a corner they cut during one of their 3 stops. Second place trophies being prepared for Christy Jons, for Chris Brook and for Jordan Pepper as part of the Bentley Team Apt crew. Again, German-based, racing very much a British car, the Bentley Continental GT3, number 38 coming across the line in second position. And Jons, Brook and Pepper take their rightful positions on the podium in second position. And the victory garlands going round the neck and over one arm as well. But here, the all-French crew, Romain Dumas, Fred Makovic and Patrick Pilet, who bookended the race, taking the opening and closing stints. Romain Dumas qualified it this morning. Fred Makovic, though, putting in his part of the race with a really good stint midway through as well. And it'll be Manthey Racing with the Porsche 911 GT3R, based incredibly locally, Mount Morspath that they come from, and Manthey Racing deciding to go the way of 3 Frenchmen. It seems to be a very decent decision from Olaf Manthey in a spectacularly liveried Porsche. The hats come off, and the national anthem of the victorious team will be played now.
They looked happy.
Very much so. Yeah, and rousing applause from beneath the podium as well. All the caps go back on, the Michelin caps for the race winners. In fact, it's Michelin all round, is it not? No, beg your pardon, no. Second place car not on the French rubber, but very much a tyre battle here in the field. So, also being called forward for other podia are further class winners. But congratulations to Pilet, to Makovic and to Romain Dumas, who take the victory spoils in the first VLN race of the season. There are another 8 of these events to come, remember. And if any of those are half as good as this one, I think we're in for a treat of a season. Whoever
wrote the script for that one, well done them. Our next live coverage in sound and vision is April the 8th for the 42nd DMV 4-hour race. And we will be back with exactly the same format for that particular event, with a bit of build-up, then the warm-up lap, and then the whole of the 4 hours live in sound and vision. Class winners being brought out onto the podium now. And I have a feeling that there will be some very happy Bentley people this evening. Second position on the podium for that Great British mark.
Yep, a very good result indeed. A very good result indeed for the Bentley. There she is, sitting behind. And I think this. Why aren't they wearing Michelin caps there?
For the Bentley?
Yeah.
The Bentley was on Yokohama's, was it not?
Ooh.
Did I not see
Graham's
that?
Looking puzzled.
I have to say that was news to me, and
I may be wrong.
But they're not Michelin caps. That doesn't necessarily mean that the Bentley's not on Michelin.
No, it doesn't. It's just it's unusual to see something. It may be another sponsor equipment.
I did see. Well, we'll get a look when these guys turn around if the
Should say-
cameraman doesn't run away.
Congratulations to Thomas Much
No.
and Jeff Westphal and Frank Meyer, who win the SPX class in the Glickenhaus. That was regularly up to pace with the other GT3 machines in a class of its own, which contained 2 entries, by the way. But the Tram Motorsport entered 003C significantly quicker than its other SPX rival.
So that wraps things from us here. As we'll remind you once again that our next event is April the 8th for the 42nd DMV 4-hour race. Graham is going to go away and research why the Bentley guys weren't wearing the hats he was expecting. Johnny is going
for a lie down.
Johnny is going for a lie down, and I'm going to find something to eat that doesn't have carbs in it. Thanks for being with us. The whole team have worked hard to put this one together. Make sure you join us again April the 8th for the 42nd DMV 4-hour as the podium continues on the front straight at the Nordschleife. We leave you and say enjoy the rest of your motorsport weekend and join us again for more action on Radio Show Limited's network of channels, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.